This is my 7th video lesson for Unit 15. In this lesson, we'll be naming molecules with functional groups. Go to page 27 in the class packet. Motivation, using reference table K and R, what is the naming rules for the compound below? On table K, this molecule has two names, ethanoic acid and acetic acid. Ethanoic acid is the organic name. Acetic acid comes from the acid naming rules. Even the chemical formulas are written differently to highlight different features. This one highlights the fact that this compound has organic acid functional group. This chemical formula highlights the fact that only one hydrogen ion can be donated. To figure out the naming rules of ethanoic acid, the prefix means two carbons according to table P. Oic acid tells you there's organic acid functional group. Learning target. At the end of the lesson, I'll be able to name molecules with various functional groups. Homework B number 7, which will be a junipod based on this lesson. In your packet on page 27 is this procedure that helps you draw the structural formula from the chemical name. It builds upon the naming rules of hydrocarbons that we covered in the previous PowerPoints. If you're ever stuck, look at Table R's examples. From Table R, you should be able to get the suffix of each class of organic compounds. Keep in mind, the only class without a suffix ending is halide, because halides are treated as constituents. In this example, the oic acid tells you that the molecule have organic acid functional group. The prefix probe comes from table P. It tells you that the parent chain has 3 carbons. Ane tells you that there's only carbon-carbon single bonds. Chloro is the halide constituent that is on carbon 2. That is how we got the name 2-chloropropanoic acid. On the Regents exam, for questions about naming organic compounds, the compounds usually have one functional group. For compounds with 2 or more functional groups, go to the last page in the packet. There is a table of the priority of each of the functional groups. Now let's use the procedure to go over 4 examples. We're given the chemical name, draw the structural formula. Step 1, identify the organic prefix. That'll tell you the number of carbons. The prefix is but. According to table P, it means the parent chain is 4 carbons long. And since there's ane, these are all carbon-carbon single bonds. In step 2, identify the suffix to get the functional group and the class of organic compound. The suffix is OL. By looking at table R, the class of organic compounds alcohol. Step 3, look at the number before the parent name. That tells you where the functional group is located in the parent carbon chain. If the number is not stated, assume to be 1. In example 1, the alcohol is on carbon 1. If we look back at this example, there was no number in front of propanoic acid. It is assumed to be 1. As seen in the structural formula, the organic acid is on carbon 1. For step 4, add hydrogen atoms if needed. Follow the octet rule. So we just fill in the rest of the molecule with hydrogens. And this is the structural formula of 1-butanol. For example 2, we're going to draw the isomer, 2-butanol. 2-butanol will have a similar structure to 1-butanol. It has the same parent chain of 4 carbons long. The OH group will be on carbon 2 rather than carbon 1. And here's the structural formula of 2-butanol. For example 3, we have 3-methyl 2-butanol. This molecule will have one more constituent compared to example 2. It has a methyl group on carbon 3. We're first going to draw the parent chain of 4 carbons. Then the OH group on carbon 2. And the methyl group on carbon 3. And add in the hydrogens. This is the structural formula of 3-methyl 2-butanol. For the last example, example 4, we're going to draw 1-fluoro 3-methyl 2-butanol. So there is one more constituent compared to example 3. We're first going to draw the parent chain, which is 4 carbons long. The OH group is on carbon 2. The methyl group is on carbon 3, and the fluoro group is on carbon 1. Next, we're going to add in the hydrogens. This is the structural formula of 1-fluoro-3-methyl-2-butanol. Learning check number 1. What is the structural formula of ethanol? Pause the video. Resume is completed. The prefix tells you that the parent chain is 2 carbons long. Ane tells you is carbon-carbon single bonds. And the suffix OL tells you that the class of organic compound is alcohol. So the answer is choice 1. Learning check number 2. Given the structural formula, what is the IUPAC name of this compound? Pause the video. Resume is completed. The first step is to figure out the parent chain. The parent chain is 5 carbons long, and there is only carbon-carbon single bonds. Next, we check the functional group. The functional group is organic acid. So the name of this compound will be pentanoic acid. Choice 4. Learning check number 3. What is the IUPAC name of this compound? Pause the video. Resume is completed. The parent chain is 4 carbons long with only carbon-carbon single bonds, so it is butane. There are 3 substituents. All 3 of them are chlorine. Now we have to number the carbons so that the carbon with substituents have the lowest number possible. There are 2 possible ways to number the carbons, either from left to right or right to left. Let's start with left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the numbering will be 2, 2, 3. There are 2 chlorines on carbon 2 and 1 chlorine on carbon 3. Now to number from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the numbering comes out to be 2, 3, 3. This numbering is better because the numbers are smaller. By using table R, for chemical names, the chlorine substituent is converted to chloro. Since we have 3 chlorines, we have to add the covalent prefix tri in front of the chloro. That becomes trichloro. To put it together, the name of this chemical compound is 2,2,3-trichlorobutane. The answer is choice 4. Learning check number 4. Which structural formula represents 1,2-dibromopropane? Pause the video. Resume is completed. From the main propane, there are 3 carbons in the parent chain, so choice 1 is wrong. Dibromo tells you there are 2 bromine substituents in the molecule. They're on carbon 1 and carbon 2. So the best answer is choice 2. This is 1,2-dibromopropane. Choice 3 is 1,1-dibromopropane. And choice 4 is 2,2-dibromopropane. Learning check number 5. What is the name of the following? Pause the video. Resume is completed. The first step is to get the parent chain. The parent chain is 5 carbons long. Therefore, it is pent, so choice 1 and choice 4 are wrong. There are 2 groups on the parent chain, a OH group and a methyl group. The OH group tells us this is an alcohol, so the suffix should be OL. Now the question is, which group has more priority, the methyl group or the OH group? Do we number the carbons from left to right or right to left? It turns out the OH group has a higher priority, so we're going to number the carbons from right to left. So the carbon with the OH group will have a smaller number than the carbon with the methyl group. So the chemical name of this compound is 4-methyl-2-pentanol. So the answer is choice 3. So this is the priority table in the back of the packet. As you can see, the OH group has a higher priority than the methyl group, which is an alkyl group. On the Regents exam, they would typically only ask 1 group, occasionally 2 groups at most. Now we're going to go over how to name esters, ethers, and ketones. Let's start with ester. Here we have a compound with an ester functional group, the first step is to identify the parent. The parent has the C double bond O. The R group is attached to the oxygen. In this example, the parent chain is 2 carbons long. If you check table R, for esters, you change the ending to O8, so this becomes FNO8. For esters, the R group bonded to the oxygen is an alkyl group. Since this alkyl group is 2 carbons, this is FO. To put together, we write the R group first, then the parent group. So the name of this ester is FOFNO8. Let's look at another example. This ester has 1 carbon in the parent chain, methanoate, and 1 carbon in the R group. This is a methyl group. So the name of this compound is methylmethanoate. Learning check number 6. What is the name of the following? Pause the video. Resumes completed. This compound is an ester. The first step is to identify the parent chain, which has a C double bond O. The parent chain is 4 carbons long. The R group is only 1 carbon. So the name of this compound is methylbutanoate, choice 1. Next, for naming ethers, we first have to identify the R group. In ethers, the R groups are alkyl groups. This alkyl group is a methyl group. This alkyl group is an ethyl group. By looking at table R, the ending for ether is ether, so the name of this compound is methyl ethyl ether. Let's look at some more examples. The R group on the left is a methyl group. The R group on the right is a propyl group. So the name of this ether is methyl propyl ether. Learning check number 7. What is the name of the following? Pause the video. Resumes completed. This compound is an ether. The R groups are ethyl groups. Since they're the same group, we can use the covalent prefix di. So the name of this ether will be diethyl ether, choice 3. Now let's go over how to name ketone. Here we have an example of a ketone. The first step is to figure out the parent chain. The parent chain has 5 carbons. Next, we have to number the carbon. We want the carbon with the functional group to be the lowest number possible. Next, we use table R. The suffix for ketone is ONE, so the name of this ketone will be 2-pentanone. Let's look at another example. This ketone has a parent chain of 3 carbons, and the C double bond O is on the second carbon, so the name of this ketone is 2-propanone or propanone. In this situation, the number is not needed because the C double bond O can only be on the second carbon, because in ketone, the carbon of the C double bond O must be bonding with other carbons. Learning check number 8. What is the name of the following? Pause the video. Resumes completed. This compound is a ketone. There are 5 carbons in this parent chain. The C double bond O is on carbon 3. So the name of this ketone is 3-pentanone. Choice 3. Check of understanding number 1. Draw the structural formula of the organic compound given the name. Try to do it yourself. Pause the video. Resumes completed. The first one is methanol. It is an alcohol with 1 carbon parent chain. Next, we have 1-propanol. It's also alcohol with a 3 carbon parent chain. The OH group is on carbon 1. Next, we have 2-propanol, which is an isomer of 1-propanol. The OH group is on carbon 2. Next is ethanamine. It is a 2 carbon parent chain bonded to a nitrogen. Next is ethanamide. It is a 2 carbon parent chain with an amide functional group. And last is methanoic acid. It's a 1 carbon parent chain with organic acid functional group. For practice number 1, draw the structural formula of the following. Try to do this yourself. Pause the video. Resume as completed. Here are the answers. In part 2, name the following organic compounds. Try to do this yourself. Pause the video. Resume as completed. Here are the answers. This concludes the video lesson. Remember to do the Juniper homework.